If you ask any meme coin or crypto trader what their favorite time window of trading was, most will say the 3-month stretch from October to January of this past year. Markets were pumping every single day with new all-time highs, and we started seeing so many unique and cool projects launch, and there was so much money to be made. But here's the thing, markets move fast. That time span was almost a year ago. Now fast forward to 3 months ago where I released this video in which I explained the state of the market and how you can always stay one step ahead of other traders. And in the past 3 months since this video was released, the flow of meme coins, mindshare, and money has completely changed once again. So today in this video, I'm giving you the 3 things that you need to understand to prepare for the final stretch of this year, but also skills and tricks that you can implement starting today. Since May, things have drastically changed. We're seeing new competitors launch new launchpads, what seems to be like every other week. Now, the craziest part is that in May, you can see I've circled the LaunchCoin logo, and this is exactly how it was back then. LaunchCoin was taking all of the revenue, all of the market share, and it's crazy how things have changed in such a short span of time. Today, pumpfun is back on top, and it's really not even close. Another cool thing is that back in May and June, bonk was actually solidifying itself as a big competitor, but since then, it's pretty much fallen off. Now, if you've been trading for a while, you definitely know what pumpfun is. That's where pretty much all of these coins were launched, and these are some of the biggest coins to this date in terms of meme coins on Solana. But pumpfun is the biggest launchpad by far. Today, I think they're still representing upwards of 70 to 80% of the current market share. But behind pumpfun in terms of market share, pumpfun is obviously number 1. Meteora is currently in the 2nd spot, and bonk.fun is currently in 3rd. So back in May, you can obviously see this was 1. We had pump was 2. We had radium was 3. Sweep was 4, and bonk was 5. So already things have changed drastically, and this is not even mentioning newer launchpads like bags.fun and HevIndex, which I think are also still representing a big majority of the total market share. And LaunchCoin has completely fallen off in terms of dominance and market share. Their flagship runner, LaunchCoin, went from roughly 350 million market cap all the way down to 45 million, which is a pretty substantial fall. Big picture, TLDR, an easy way to understand everything I just mentioned in terms of the state of the market is kind of thinking like the crypto meme coin market as the stock market. Not in terms of the actual financials of these companies or the actual revenues, but in terms of the actual quarterly earnings and their quarterly reports. The reason that companies report quarterly earnings is because things change quickly, and it's important for investors to know what they're investing their money into. And especially in the span of 3 months, things can change very rapidly. For example, the company's financials could go bad, the markets could entirely swing, and maybe even previous competitive advantages could be no longer useful. Now, using bonk as an example, their market share went from roughly 60 to 70% almost a month and a half ago to now sitting at roughly 5 to 10% on a good day. But big picture, looking at graphs and charts like this and kind of visually understanding what's going on, which launchpads are the most dominant, which ones are the best, has been very successful for me, and it's made it very easy to actually understand meme coins, especially on an analytical level. Now, one way to see market share and understand trends is to use the Axiom Lighthouse. This is located down here at the bottom, and it's a new feature that just came out last month, and this is one of my favorite ways to actually analyze the market in just a few minutes. You'll also notice I've got the pumpfun app on the screen as well, and I've been using it down here at the bottom of my desk. Pretty much been using both of these side by side. And if you have not already downloaded the pumpfun app, make sure to use the link down below, or just go to your Google or Apple store and type pump.fun to get started. Now, what does this lighthouse actually do? Well, it shows you market data on different time spans. So, for example, I'm currently on 24 hours. The best is probably sit on an hour to kind of see what's currently going on. So currently the top launch pads are pumpfun, virtual Meteora curve, and also bonk. Currently, we can see that in the past 1 hour, there's been roughly $60 million in meme coin trading volume on the biggest launch pads. Now, of this 60 million, roughly 15 million is going to pumpfun, 7 million is going to the Meteora virtual bonding curve, and roughly 5 million is going to bonk. This is also really good if you live in a different time zone and you're trying to figure out what's the hottest times in terms of trading meme coins. So right now it says in the last hour compared to the previous hour, the number of tokens created is up 20%, and the number of tokens that have migrated is also up 20%. So this means that this current time that I'm in right now, which is roughly 3:30 p.m. Eastern, is better than it was at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, or roughly 1 hour ago. Now, when you look at the 24-hour time span, things also get very interesting. Roughly $380 million in terms of trading volume, evenly split pretty much between buy and sell volume. Number of tokens created and migrations is up. So today seems like a pretty good day to be trading meme coins, but that's for a separate video. In terms of the analytics, It's easy to see that tokens that are either on Pump or Bonk are some of the hottest tokens right now. And Bonk is even up 100% day to day, meaning that yesterday they were right around $12 million in volume, whereas Pump is right around 80 to 90 million. So this goes to show what I mentioned earlier in terms of Pump being the strongest competitor right now in terms of the Memecoin launchpad battles. And since a lot of you have been asking, when I go to the Pulse tab and when I click on the migrated tab, you can see my current settings. I have pretty much all of the top protocols selected: Pump, Bonk, Bags, Heaven, Believe, Launch Lab. These are the hottest ones in terms of what I just mentioned on this screen right here. But also when you look at the top deploys, like you're going to see Pump, 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 Pump. Pretty much all of the runners right now are being deployed and established on Pump. And this transitions me perfectly into the app because the Movers tab uses AI to actually show you the best tokens. So right now I'm looking, there's a couple gold bars, which means that this token is actually gaining steam. And in terms of actually understanding data and analytics, that other tabs that they offer, like the News tab, is actually very important, especially when Pump is capturing as much market share as they are right now. You can pretty much get write-ups on all of the top tokens on Pump and kind of understand why they're running. And this kind of gives you an investor's thesis on maybe why you should invest into it or maybe why you should sit out of it. Like there's so many recent deploys, especially TikTok narratives, Twitter narratives, just anything in the meme coin world, crypto, Twitter, etc. And the News tab has been on fire in terms of actually scouting the best token, and pairing it with the Movers tab makes it so that you pretty much never miss a runner. And one of my favorite additions that they just added is the Leaderboards tab, where you can actually see how much money people are making trading meme coins. And from this tab, you're going to notice people like Cupsy, he makes a ton of money every single day from meme coins. But when you actually start looking at this tab every single day, if you notice that maybe he's having a slow day or maybe people aren't making as much money, that's kind of a good indicator that the market is slowing down a bit or they're not as hot. Now, when you combine these tabs and the Axiom Lighthouse, makes it a lot easier for me to actually grasp information, sit down, look at the numbers, and pick the coins that I'm investing into, but also pick the times, the launch pads, everything else that goes into picking the right tokens. And to further establish this point while we're on the topic of analytics, Dune is actually an incredibly useful dashboard. I'll leave a link for this specific dashboard down in the description. Pretty much this goes to show you on a more sophisticated graph level which launch pads are the most successful and which ones are actually gaining the most steam. So I mentioned that Pump is actually leading the market share race by far, and it's really not that close. Let's actually hover over Pump, and as you can see, all of these light green boxes are Pump. So here it is again, hovering over it. As of roughly August 5th, between July 5th and August 5th, it was actually Bonk that was taking a strong amount of the market share, and they were in the spotlight for roughly a month. But since then, pumpfun is back on top, and it's really not close. And when you scroll down, you can look even deeper into the deploys, the market shares, pretty much every single analytical piece that might help you make money. Graduation rates, volume, launchpad volume, active addresses that are trading, active addresses that are eligible for airdrops, pretty much everything you need to know. And the final piece of actually understanding the market and the market shifts is just using the bottom of Axiom here, taking a sneak peek at Bitcoin. Let's say it's at 108 now. You check back in 2 hours, it's at 105. You'll understand why the meme coin markets aren't moving as quickly. Let's say vice versa. You take a look and Sol is at $220 tomorrow or in a few days. You'll understand why the market's quickly ramping up and why things are shifting pretty fast. So far we've established two things. We've established the market and the market shifts and how to understand which launch pads are gearing up for success and which ones are actually taking market share. We've also established data and analytics because these are some of the most important parts of actually trading, not only crypto, but meme coins as well. And data analytics makes it so much easier to actually get a grasp of what's going on. Data and analytics is your best friend, and that's exactly true. Now, the third and final thing that you need to take away from this video is that you can use other people and their wallets as samples, and you can take away a lot of information from other people taking trades with you sitting on the sidelines completely. For example, here's Mizar, another tool that I use all the time, and under their research tab, I sit under the hot tokens. I just do this whenever I feel like it, whenever I'm trying to scout if a token is a good swing play, a good dip buy, or anything in between. And I typically just go on this smart money tab, filter it in terms of what smart money is buying, and this is what smart money is selling. Now filter it again, this is what smart money is buying over the last 24 hours. Without me having to decide if a token is good or smart, I can scroll through the smart money buys and get a good grasp of which tokens are actually being bought up by people who are as good, if not better traders than me. So for example, two really popular ones are Lock-in and Neat. I know these two. Tokaboo, this is also a pumpfun token, and these are more established coins up here. Troll is actually a pretty interesting one, but people are also selling this one a lot. So 138K buy volume, 94K sell volume, so it's kind of in the middle. Neat seems to be having much more buy volume compared to sell volume, so that's interesting to see. And if I actually want to deploy a lot of capital, I typically go on here first before I actually make a decision, especially on more established coins like Neat, Lock-in, Troll, Tokabu. Like these are all tokens that have been out for a few weeks, if not months. And if you're on the fence of buying or sitting out, then this is a good place to start. Another place I thoroughly like to scout and understand more of is the smart wallets tab. And from here, I'm sorting it by last swap. So I want to see wallets that are actually actively trading. So as you can see, these are all wallets that have been trading in the last 2 weeks, which is pretty helpful. And I'm just looking for people that have a really good win rate and really good P&L, especially in the last few weeks. So for example, this person's made 200K, 500K. These are both people that are actively trading. Average hold time is roughly 3 hours for this wallet, 48 minutes. And they're both sitting at right around, this one's right around 50% win rate. This one's right around 60% win rate, if my math is correct, just on the spot. These are wallets that I would like to track, that I would like to look into. They take the hard part of trading out of the question because these are people that are actually throwing up tons of capital on the line. They're making it easier for me to figure out what's a good trade, what's something I can scale out of, what are positions that I should be making. And overall, this is all can help you become a more profitable trader. Now that we're back here, we can fill this one out and pretty much don't be scared to use other wallets as test samples to level up your trading. Everything is recorded on chain, close friends, KOLs, everything's documented, buys, sells, whatever. Cryptos is very transparent in the sense that you can see what everyone's doing. Ask yourself questions like, where is the market going to? Are we going to see any shifts anytime soon? Ask yourself things like, how can I use other people and their wallets to actually become a more profitable trader? Like, are there coins that I'm not looking into? Are there trades that I could be making? Is there a position that I'm overly invested in that I should probably scale out of? And finally, utilize resources like Dune and other data and analytic websites that can help you understand meme coins, numbers, and kind of group everything all together. My page is very centered around all three of these topics, and I honestly think that's one of the reasons why this channel has grown so quickly. Make sure you guys scroll down, leave a like, leave a comment, ask a question. I answer pretty much all of them. And also make sure to subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.